Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming's Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 finale, fan reactions. A lot of stuff to talk about tonight, and mixed emotions, I will say that. I've got some good, some interesting, and definitely some opportunity with the season finale. People giving it a 3. Wow. Jaden Grimes says, worst ending ever. Jaden, I'm going to say the opposite. I think the ending was so much better than the rest of it. I mean, it's just my feeling. I just wish the whole thing would have been kind of like the ending. I started to see a little bit of direction there. But the whole Martha storyline, wow, there was yeah. I'm ready for some Walking Dead. I do feel like the ending kind of kept me interested for season 5. But I think they could have done so much better. Wow, some people rating it high. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Also, I want to apologize for being late. That's their fault because they put so many commercials in tonight's episode. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about our fan reactions, just a couple bullet points. We won't go step by step of everything that went down. So Samantha saying still a 5. Woo! Yeah, some tough scores. Pathetic episode, maybe 5.5. Give it a 4. A couple people really liked it. As a Walking Dead fan, I'm here for the long haul. But I got to tell you, I'm going to go ahead and just give you just my initial reaction and give you a couple of the things that I didn't think were very good. Let's start with the fact that Althea found the radio in the police car with a shotgun that had bullets, then a news van, totally, worked out, and used both the bullets, and then Martha just took one swing and just wham, just kind of hijacked her. And then this back and forth with Morgan. I think the part that bothered me most about tonight's episode, why do you think Morgan cared so much? That was the theme, and I'm sure after Talking Dead does their thing and Scott Gimple does his thing, people will, there's a little bit of a hidden message to it, and they wanted it to be the mirror image of Morgan. Like, he sees himself through Martha, and what she lost and what he lost, and just he thinks he has the ability to change it. But why can't he just not walk away? I mean, the fact that Morgan continues to put other people that he cared about in danger to help this one person. And is he that naive that he really thought he could change Martha and take her back to Alexandria? Yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, Eastman, Rick, people that have extended that level of support for him. But you got to know when it's too far gone. And clearly he did not know that it was that far gone. And I really, the cop car crashing, I don't know that was even a real cop car. Did that look like bad CGI to all of you? Like, did they just took a scene from something and spun a Matchbox car? I'll have to watch it again. But when they showed that full speed, I was like, I don't even think they used a stunt car for that. Maybe they did, but it just looked like it was just completely computer generated. It did. It looked so fake to me. So there were a couple things I'm thinking, like, could they not have even gotten a real stuntman? Yeah, that was pretty bad. When Morgan kept saying, this is something I got to do on my own, and then he got himself in trouble. Why not take 4 people with you, jump in a truck, and just go, deal with Martha? And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sound, completely creepy, but I do have to look up and find out, like, how long it takes when you ingest antifreeze, because That was a while. He had 3/4 of a tank of gas, and he ran that car out of gas. So that had to be, I mean, what do you think? Probably 300 miles on a tank of gas. So 60 miles an hour, 4.5, 5 hours. It was a while. And then he was walking path by path by path. So, I mean, he's driving for 5 hours. And then he just kind of strolls in the door with some beer. So this is what this is what I have to say. I think I enjoyed it so much earlier in the season because it was funny. And tonight, when they tried to be serious, I realized that a lot of tonight's episode bothered me. The fact that they seem to be on their deathbed, and all of a sudden they hear Morgan's voice, and it's like, yes, oh, there's light, there's hope, and then all that stuff didn't run out in the look, I'm just speaking for myself. So apparently, they have this ethanol and they're going to do something with it, or why not go get some of those bottles? All the ethanol is not going to run out of the back of the truck in like a minute. So you got time to go over and say, hey, let's go in there and take these plastic bottles, dump them out, go in that bathroom, wash them out, because obviously the water works because Morgan washed the Sharpie off his face. Then take the empty bottles out there and just get some of the ethanol. Am I the only person that thought of that? But they didn't. They actually just waited for it all to run out, and then they went back in, and they looked exactly the same as they did before Morgan called them in the first place. They just gave up. So they were ready to give up because they're surrounded by walkers. They get the adrenaline. They kill all the walkers. And then after the truck, it's just like, oh, let's just go back in and die. Yeah. Kirby's like, they were all too sick to do all that. Okay, they were all too sick, Kirby, but they went in and waited for another 8 to 10 hours before Morgan showed up. So, yeah, that was some lazy writing, I do have to admit. And we did, hey, I will tell you, I am up there with the biggest Walking Dead fans in the world. I love the show. I love the franchise. Tonight, just, I'll watch. I will be right here, guarantee you, season 5 hyping it up. But tonight, it sucked. Come on. I can't put any positive spin on it. Maybe that was the whole season had humor, and maybe tonight it was the humor was the seriousness. Yes, the producers are on Talking Dead, and you know what? I'll catch the end of it, but I figured tonight would not be a bad night to do our broadcast simultaneously to theirs, because I don't think a lot of people are just like on pins and needles waiting to see them talk about tonight's episode. So initially, I gave it a 6. I'm gonna give it a 5. My lowest rating of the season. And the reason I'm giving it a 5 was because of the ending. I do love the ending. Oh man, this is bad. We got some Julie McGuire gave it a -7. Julie, it's not a -7. I'll tell you why it had a couple saving points, a little bit of a saving grace. Was because they did set the stage for next season. And even before I saw the ending, the one thing we did in the countdown tonight that we talked about was -999. You're funny, Sheila. The one thing we talked about is how it appears that this group is going to be the opposite of every other group that we've seen in The Walking Dead. their sole agenda is to save people. And now that we've gotten the corny storyline with Martha done and a weak attempt at antifreeze and neutralizing it with alcohol, it appears that they've got a location. They might not be killing people off. Whereas on The Walking Dead, one thing that kind of, it's what we look forward to, but it kind of irks us from time to time, is when they start to lose these big characters. So you've got a gunslinger, you've got a journalist, you've got Morgan and Alicia kind of the leadership roles, and then you got a medic. So you've got a lot of what you need, right? And now Sarah's probably going to be the brewmaster. So you got a fairly well-rounded group that might be able to support each other. And they're not going to Alexandria. So we know that we kind of got shafted with that. Is that we were hanging on. Now, I got 2 questions for the group. Number 1, in all seriousness, and do not give it a negative. Think back through what we talked about. Think about not the season. But I need real numbers for tonight's episode. And it's got to be a positive. Give a little respect to the writers. Give a little respect to the actors. But give me your real number of where you think this episode stood. I know many of you do think it is the weakest episode of the season. But, so we got Karen Law coming in with a 6. 4, 6s, 3s. I'm just trying to get a mental average of how some of you have been scoring it throughout the season. And I'm kind of curious to see who liked it. I mean, there were some people that liked it or some people it appealed to. But mostly we're seeing it's in the 5 and 6 range. And I'm okay with that. So what was the most surprising thing in tonight's episode? So if I ask you for one reaction, something that you were just kind of shocked and surprised by, what was the most surprising event that happened tonight? Martha's arm? Yeah, it was Althea shooting the truck up. Okay. The fake car crash was great. They have the budget to do it. I just don't. I guess they thought they would just do it so fast. Another shot of the tapes. We did. We're going to have to get a screenshot. Did anybody see that Martha carved strong in her own forehead? That was probably the most surprising thing to me. Oh, some people missed that. Yeah, if you get a chance, take a look at the shot of Martha. She actually carved strong in her forehead before she ripped her own arm off. It was crazy. Yeah. All right, let me jump into this. Was that Abe's family on tape, the mom with 2 kids? I didn't see anything that made me think more Abraham. Julie, I was hoping, I was looking for it. I think it's her family, and I know I've been really one of the bold supporters saying that I think that this Army background and the relationship, there's some relationship between Abraham and Althea. Maybe there is, but I think the tapes were more her family, but we'll speculate a little bit more on that a little bit later on. I'm going to tell you, they instantly could have. The episode could have went from a 6, or I rated it a 5 afterwards, from a 5 to a 7 if the army guy or the military guy in the tape, if he would have had red hair. If he just would have been a redhead, then I would have been like, yes, now we got a backstory. Now we got... So why wouldn't they do that? Why wouldn't they just kind of, just to give us something to talk about? Even if it wasn't Abraham, it could have just been a hint of red. I need to kind of write the story. Well, you know what? I'm going to go back and watch it, unless it was a much, much older tape, and that was her and Althea's parents. Maybe Abe is her brother, and that guy was her dad. I didn't kind of see the time frame. I'm searching at this point. I'm hoping, right? Yeah, I will. I'll go back, and it's like Samantha's like, Kills watch again. I don't know that I can, to be honest with you. It's like, woo! I made it. I made it through the whole season. And look, I know occasionally powers that be, writers, producers, check in, read some of our comments from time to time. I don't think they sit through the whole hour, but they do get a feel for what you think and what you feel. So I typically don't bash the show, and I'm not going to. I was a strong advocate of the show from a month before it happened, begging and pleading with many of you to say, give it a shot. I liked the season. I really do. I'm not overly pleased with the convenient writing at the end. I think they rushed a lot of stuff. It's almost like they needed a 17th episode to sort of make it work, because I think they just crammed a lot of stuff in the end. But I like where they ended it. So I'm going to ask each of you, do me a big favor, because I'm going to give you my final number here, but I want you to think about episode 1 to episode 16. We made a commitment. We supported the show. We're going to be back next season. But give me a score of all 16 episodes combined. Taking into account the baseball stadium, Mel, Morgan's return, the story of John. There were some things they could have done better. I think I'm going to leave mine at I think I'm going to give it an 8.1. I think overall there were a couple episodes I had rated really high. I love the episode with Alicia and Charlie, and I think that episode really pulled it up higher for me. If this one drug it down a little bit, I think that was probably my favorite episode of the season. So I think an 8.1, I'm going to give it slightly more than an 8. But I was entertained. I was entertained. We had some good chat, some good conversation around it. I've seen a lot of interaction from each and every one of you. It probably, it's got a long way to go, and I think we know that. But I do think this is a good foundation, and I think there's some things that they can do next season to kind of get our interest a little bit more. This to me was a good comeback. You can't fix every broken story in one season. And the attachment to The Walking Dead definitely kept me interested. Now, I'm a little disappointed. But here's a follow-up question I had. I said I had at least 2 questions for you guys. How long into season 5 before the group changes their mind and decides to go to Alexandria again? How many episodes into it? Because you know that's going to be that's going to first time something goes wrong, they're going to blame like, well, we should have just went to Alexandria. Episode 3. And I think there's 2 central storylines now for this group. One thing I will say is I've never felt like this franchise had any direction. They got on the boat. They were going to Mexico. They went from Mexico, and then they went back to New Mexico, Arizona, in that area, and then Texas. So I never felt like, what are they going to do? Until finally they got to the stadium and they said, we're going to plant our roots here, literally. And they wanted to build that up. And now they've got 2 agendas. So they may be further along on the agenda than Rick's group. Look, I'm not saying it's better. I'm not even making that comparison. But Rick's group right now, they're fighting again. And I think you guys heard the quote by Rick, and he says, the world is controlled by the dead, and we're just fighting, basically making more of them. And Rick's trying to tell everybody at this point, it's not about us versus us. It's about us versus the dead, and every time we kill one of us, they get stronger, and we're not killing enough of them to weaken them. But Fear the Walking Dead, now they have a Alexandria storyline or not Alexandria storyline, one or the other. And their biggest goal now is they're going to save people. They're trying to go around and be the opposite of what everybody else on The Walking Dead has ever done. It's not about survival. Now it's about helping. Well, I guess that's kind of survival, isn't it? But anyway, you get my point. It's not about just taking things from, hoarding everything so you can survive. Now it's about finding more people, stronger people, smarter people. People have their own abilities, their own skill set. So I think of all the things out there, Morgan probably knows this better than anybody. Morgan has seen all the different types of people in Alexandria. He's seen people grow up. He's seen people have different skill sets. But they never really focused on their skill. And in Fear the Walking Dead, they definitely, you got a sheriff. So in case you ever need law, they had that with Rick. But you got John Dory. You've got Morgan, who's kind of he's wise. He's seen all of it. You got June, who does appear to becoming the medic in the family. And they are going to run into people. And I think, at some point in season 5, there's got to be another villain out there. And they're going to continue to be in this whole, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. I got to tell you, I think there's so many things they can do with this franchise. Like, I want to see some more airboats. I want to see some more gators. I think that whole bayou experience, if they want to head down south a little bit more or a little bit more toward the coast, I think they can make it pretty entertaining. So, Chosen One asks, and you know what? I'll ask this question to everybody because I know some people like season 3. This was by far, for me, the best season ever of Fear the Walking Dead. When Fear the Walking Dead started out in season 1, the first 5-6 episodes really had my attention. What's going on? How are they doing it on the West Coast? So, in essence, we've seen the the East Coast, the West Coast, and now the Midwest. So they don't need a brand new spinoff to show you what Texas and what the Midwest and now going into the South, more South than Atlanta. It's Fear the Walking Dead has basically become, I think, 2 franchises in one. But by far, this was so much more entertaining to me this season. And you guys give me a quick number, 1 to 4. Which season did you like the best of Fear the Walking Dead? I will tell you by viewers and by head count and by participation, we've had much, much more in season 4 than any other season. And I think you'll see a lot more 4s. Yeah, I mean, there's some 1s in there too. So, how many people are, and we will, look, this isn't going to be the last time we talk Fear. We will talk Fear from time to time as word comes out, rumors come out. But I do like the fact the table is set for next season. And it appears they're keeping their group together. And by that I mean I'd be surprised if in season or episode 1 or episode 2 one of these main characters is gone. It does look like they're just going to kind of build upon that. When does Fear? March, late February, March, I think. Drama King, I don't think I'm going to watch 24 hours early because we have a good idea of what episode 1 is going to be. And we're still going to count it down, but I mean, you know, spoilers are already out there for episode number 1 anyway. So, think about this. Here's what we got going on. And I know many of you are going to be here, but we're going to wind down this season with The Walking Dead. We got some big stuff coming, obviously, with Rick Grimes. But 2019, I think Fear the Walking Dead is going to get better. But we will also have, once we get past the loss of Rick, so 2019, we're going to have The Walking Dead. We're going to have Fear the Walking Dead. And, of course, we will have Game of Thrones. And I think that's going to be a lot of stuff for us to really dig into and to watch and to talk about. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this year, and I'm looking forward to just an awesome 2019. So, Fear's going to have to get a little bit better. But if they just make a little bit of progress and keep us interested, I'm really pleased with how many new viewers that we got. And we're going to get a ton of new viewers with Game of Thrones. And we're going to get together and talk about, we're going to talk about it just like we do this. But that's going to be a full year for us. All right, everybody. So, how many... I got to ask the question because I know there's going to be 1 or 2 that are going to try to bail. But how many people are here for season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead? I just need a head count. If you're here, if you're going to look forward to it, we're going to hype it up just like we did this season. It could have ended on a better note. But are there some people out there just going to say, you know what? I gave it 4 seasons. I came back. I just can't do it. I can't put up with another season. All right. And that really is the thing. I mean, was it the best series we've ever seen in our life? No. It did have some really good stuff this season, and it did have some creative writing, and it did hit on a few keynotes. But if it would have been worse than the last couple seasons, and it was digressing, and I think they hit the brakes and they actually kicked it up just a little bit, which is exactly what we wanted. I think that's what we said before episode number 1. We said, look, we're hyped up about it. There's a lot of new characters. We're going to get in. We're going to learn these new characters. We're going to study them. But I do have to say this. There's one thing that I want to see happen. And Andrew, Scott, if you're watching, this is what I need to see, and you have the full rights in order to do this. I need you to make Charlie into Clementine. Just do it. Just make that happen for me. Look, she's drinking beer already, so I need her to learn the gunslinging ability from John, and just let's forget her bad past, and let's just put a ball cap on her and make her Clementine. Just do it. There's so many things they can do to take this franchise to a whole new level, and that's what I'm going to ask for. I'm going to say just kind of throw it out there, and then I'll hype it up a little bit more. There you go. Now we get a little bit of the fan support. All right, everybody. I'm going to let everybody take off. We're going to leave a little bit early tonight. I appreciate the fan reactions and all your involvement. You guys do me a big favor. If you like what we do, if you're going to be here tomorrow night, everybody hit that like button. Tomorrow night, we are going to start our Walking Dead countdown. It's going to be a lot of fun. So every night this week, we're going to be streaming. So I need each and every person right here. It's going to be a blast. We know some people are going to watch it a day early, but we're just going to be breaking down every possible scenario and talking about it until you guys go absolutely nuts with The Walking Dead. We've got a good 2 months ahead of us of nothing but... is it bad that I call The Walking Dead the real thing? And this one is... It's good, but I ain't going to lie. I'm ready to see Rick and Daryl, Rosita and Carol and Maggie. I'm ready to see all this stuff play out and get together, stream it, and talk about it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. Everybody give me a quick 999 as well so I can do some shout-outs on the way out the door. And then we will all take out, go watch a little bit of Talking Dead, see if there's some hints, some tips, some tricks that they want to throw out there, and then we'll meet tomorrow night at 9:30. All right, let's get this thing going. I'm going to start out by saying thank you to all the patrons in the top left corner. They have supported this channel through a third-party website. If you guys are interested in becoming a patron, learning a little bit more about me, what I do, there's a link down below. Also, we got sponsors. You can see the green highlights. We got Michelle M., Julie McGuire, Valar, Walking Dead Nerd, several people jumping in here. And also, we got gear. And you guys hang out with us on the Walking Dead 999 Army on Facebook. If we do additional streams, we'll post it on there. If we cancel a stream for whatever reason, sometimes it happens, we'll post it there as well. I know some people are messaging me Thursday night. We canceled the stream, but we do post those a little bit early. And, of course, I want to give a super shout-out to all the people in the 999 Army. It's each and every one of you that are typing right now. Thank you so much for everything you do. It's been a great season for Fear the Walking Dead. Would have liked to end it on a little bit higher note, but I do think there's a good transition into next season, and I'm ready to talk about The Walking Dead. Lee Bird, thank you for being here. Albert Arthur, Uncle Creepy, Ida Roma, Jimmy Coonan, Bumblebee Brown, Viola McGowan, Sheila, Mac, I see you, Delmarva, 1971, AJ Jepson, my moderators, Emmy Steph, Tommy Kells, Jimmy's Jammin', thank you, Jimmy, Rhonda DeLuca, Drama King, New York City, Dawn of the Frank, Cammy, Hippo in the House, Edwin Gonzalez, Fluff, thank you for being here, Chris Riddle, Maria Favada, Gina Crockett, have a good night, Lieutenant Ripley, Matt T., June Smith, thank you, everybody. Appreciate all of you guys being here. If I miss you in a shout-out also, Melissa Targaryen, Graylin28, well, Lonnie, thank you so much. Anna Demo, if I miss you guys, make sure that when this video goes live, leave it in the comments. There's going to be people watching the playback. They're going to see your comments, and they comment off of those, and then you comment off of theirs, and we just create this awesome network of real-time conversation. So thank you. Sam B., Kimberly G., have a good night. Candy Z, Lori ATW, Sergeant Chosen One, Shane Hazan, Crystal the Singer Chick Gore. Have a good night. All right, everybody. Whoever I missed, I will catch you in the stream tomorrow night. Let's go watch about 15 minutes of The Talking Dead. Peace.